the community and YouTube there. All right, so let's talk a little bit. I'm not gonna, go as much about our trading yesterday as I normally do. What we're gonna talk about a little bit more is kind of where we are in this range and kind of what I see next. The news obviously just came out. We just talked about that on the PPI, which came out at 8:30. It's just, we were talking about this in the community before, like you get the number that we had, you get the number that they want or they project, and then it typically, when it's this spread out, it likes to land like right in the middle. It just always does, it seems. Keep in mind, the market typically will try to price in what it thinks is going to go on. So when it lands a little worse than what it thinks, that is where you get that kind of initial drop, right? You can see 8:30 right there. You got that drop. I hope this helps you guys. A bunch of puts in right now. I hope this helps you guys. But the thing you have to remember is news. You can do all the TA in the world, but the news is what's going to determine that direction. However, this is where a lot of people get wrecked on the news. We always say this, the news can be bad and we can still go up, or the news could be good and we can still go down. And this is what seems to confuse people a lot. I know when I was trading in the earlier days, that's where I would have kind of some struggles too. But what you want to remember is you have some technicals that are still out there. For instance, let's go to the 1 hour. We've been talking about this for some time. We have the golden cross right here, which hasn't happened since 445. And look at the news. The news was not necessarily bad, but it was definitely not good. But if you look at it, although it was bad and we dropped, look where it found support, right on the 21 SMA, and it recovered. And so that could be sign of the fact that the news it's not bad enough to flip the technicals. Now, if this would have worked in reverse, if let's say the news came out, as it did, right? And now you have a potential double top forming. So let's say it actually flipped this and we pushed down, even if we tested this neckline right here, that's fine. Now we come back up and we retest here and we cannot break it, and it does like something like this. I mean, this gap is just going to fall nasty like that. I mean, it's going to be pretty gross, right? But you cannot, you got to be, for you that's in the puts, as long as we hold above this SMA, your puts are in trouble. They just are, right? And so the only hope that you could potentially kind of look for is just really watch that 1 hour SMA right here. If you flip below this, if your put is in between this gap, you'll probably be okay. If your put is below 430.27, you might be in trouble, because we could easily flip this, right? And that'll be the first retest of this 200, which could get a pretty nasty bounce, unless the news is enough to push it below. Now, let me give you a scenario. Let's say today the news is bad enough, and when the market opens, we push below this and we start doing this, and then we double top, right? Which is gonna easily claim this side if it double tops, likely even this side. That pushes us down to here. Then we hold support like this. Now at 2 p.m. we have the FOMC meeting notes. We have the CPI tomorrow. If the CPI comes out bad, plus the PPI came out not as good as expected, that could be enough to flip this 200. If we flip this 200, man, that drop is going to be pretty crazy. So, and we'll market, monitor that as it comes along, right? But the most important thing that I'm watching today is this 21 on the 2 hour. So around 434.73 is where it would have to break, depending when it breaks it. We could potentially see here's a scenario too that I can share, is we could see this where it comes like that, it hits like this, right? And then it finds the support like this, and we create a little bit of let's say like a higher high like that, and then we come back down to retest and we create another higher high like this. Now we're retesting the prior high in this squeeze. If you look at it, this is about 3, 4 o'clock, depending where you are in this range. So that meeting notes if the meeting notes happens to hit somewhere around here and it's bad, right, it could be enough to tank us. Now that would create a lower high here, which is going to be seen as pretty bearish. And you got to think about it. This is going to continue to climb up with it like that. So if the FOMC notes are bearish enough to flip this, then again, I would be really careful on your calls. Which we'll monitor that throughout the day in the trading room. So at the end of the day, our harmonic tracker, pro, we talked about this. I mean, it called the long here. We had called a short here, right, which it did play out into profit, and we saw the flip into the long, right? And then once we flip this 200, I mean, it's played out since. So it's just been spot on. Now, as far as from a, do I think that we're ready to head down yet? Let's mute some of this other stuff. So our gap fill does show we're a little bit too bearish, not quite gap fill ready, but we're really, really close. Now, mind you, that can get between 20 and 30%, but it tells you, hey, be careful on your calls around 15%. So it's really, really close. Like we talked about on that visible range, right? We do have a gap here. So if we do break that 434.30 range, we're likely to fall pretty quick to at least 433, just based on that. But when you look at the RSI, I mean, we don't have divergence. The RSI, although we're creating a lower high, right, it's trying to still aim upward. We have not flipped red, so there's really no confirmation yet saying that we're reversing down yet. However, you can see yesterday we were overbought on the 1 hour. Right now, we're not really overbought. There's really nothing indicative showing that on a 1 hour time frame that we're heading down in a big way. So let's go to the 15-minute and see if we see anything. We still don't have any divergence here. We don't have any divergence here. We did get a short call with a double top potential on the 15-minute. And so that might be something that we could see play out, right? And then even on a shorter time frame, let's look at that. So on a shorter time frame, we do have a little bit of a bearish gap fill call. We did get a little short scalp there. We got the long, little short scalp here, and currently we're in a long. So this long looks like it's about 80-cent movement, right? So you could have got a nice little scalp within that, but we currently it's in the long. So we'll see how that opens up on that. There's aside from the divergence that went on right here, right, which likely played out right there. I don't see anything crazy. It's gonna come back down and go to 440. Yeah, the again, to your response, I don't disagree. Like I said, is the retest of that SMA is going to be everything. So, and if it breaks that SMA, it doesn't mean it's over. It just means that we might be retesting that 200. So, but that's kind of what I got for that part of it, guys. Let's take a look at the Dixie, because the Dixie has been the one that's been the Dixie and the VIX have been driving this. Because if you look yesterday, let's go to the 5-minute. You can see here we had this trend line. We did have a break of this lower trend line. Let me go to the 1 hour. This was that long-term one that we were following, and we did break it. So that is quite interesting. So I would not be super surprised if we don't come up and try to retest this and then break back down. But you can see this key level of support right here for the Dixie is what it's watching. And we talked about this yesterday, right? I mean, you have a potential kind of head and shoulder feel here. So if we do break this level, I mean, the Dixie's gonna begin to bleed pretty good. So next level of support we have is 104.73. So that's likely what might push us back up into that 440 range that we'll want to watch for. So but yeah, as far as our ranges go, guys, we put this out every morning to everybody. I mean, we have some key levels up here. So 441 is kind of the upper resistance that we're calling. So, but make sure you check those market insights if you're in the community. Bitcoin, let's talk about, actually, you know what, let's jump to the VIX. I don't cover the VIX a lot, although we watch it, but I wanted to jump to it because if you look at this, similar to the dollar, right, we broke the trend line that we were following. It wasn't massive like the Dixie was, but, you know, it had some decent support ran through. You can see even here it ran, you know, support created that lower high, which we broke. So if you look at this level right here, you can see it's trying to hold support here where you had prior resistance. I'm sure there's other data where it was support back that way. And so, you know, you can almost take, move this upper pivot down to here, and we'll just mark that as our support area. And so if we break that one, the next level of support that it's going to come down to is going to be here. So obviously if the VIX goes down, markets go up. If VIX goes up, markets go down. So let's look at the 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, you can see you got your peak, equal peak to this side, and we broke down. So if we break that 15.8, man, we're coming all the way back down to 13 range, and that'll be what pushes us up in that pretty good way. So we'll keep an eye on the VIX. Let's look at the gap fill on a few here. Nothing too crazy. Let's check the 1 hour EMAs. Yeah, see, on the 1 hour, we have the SMA crossing the EMA in our death cross, so, and we're staying below. So I would look for this SMA to come down. If it squeezes it south, then it's going to fall. If we double bottom here and it can flip back above this 200 here, then it's gonna pump up back up to retest the support or resistance line. So we'll keep an eye on that in the room. Bitcoin, I'll cover quickly. I got a lot going on here. Let me read that one. You can see it's funny, we were kind of following this channel, right, which it broke out of it, right, but it ended up playing out after all. Let's delete that. So Bitcoin's in a similar situation where you have that death cross right here, and look at it's just fighting the SMA. I mean, just keeps rejecting off the SMA. So it's got to flip that SMA. You can see this where we had our golden cross. $26.8 could be where we're headed before we find some support in here. Bollingers are red, and the Bollingers are opening too. So, but here's our resistance level. We do have a little support found through here. So, you know, it could be our new range as well. So you'll just need to watch that for further confirmation. But as it is right now, I would be very careful taking any longs, so long as you're below this 21 SMA, because it could just squeeze it down. You'd be in trouble. Good deal. I'm gonna go ahead and that's pretty much all I had, guys, for the market. I didn't see any extra requests. Yeah, I didn't see any requests. So I'll go ahead and end it there, guys. I just, each morning I like to do a quick market update. If you guys wanted to kind of trade with us or continued updates or be able to ask questions, if you're brand new and watching this and you're just kind of interested, that's kind of our forte, is to teach new people. We bring it down. I started brand new, about, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. CK had taught me pretty much most everything I know, and so it helps me be able to relate with new people, because I get what you're going through. I've been through it all. I've been through liquidations. I've been through terrible trades. I've gotten out of terrible trades. I've made my mistakes, right? And CK, it's funny, he always calls it paying your stupid tax. No matter how good you get at the market, right, the market will keep you humble. It always loves to throw those curveballs. So we do some really cool training exercises in our room. If you guys are interested, even if you're in the community still watching this, if you guys are not joining on Fridays, we do some awesome training exercises on Fridays, where gives you some kind of real-time trading experience without actually losing your shirt. So but I appreciate you guys' time.